Millions of children all across Canada are starving, and this out-of-touch government, well, they live in an illusion.
Let's look at what's happened to wages in this country. They are growing the highest in years, 4%. They're growing twice the rate of inflation. Canadians are getting ahead. Every single month of this government, Canadian wages have grown faster than the rate of inflation. Rents are at a 33-month low. Affordability is the best it's been in over a decade. Hear, hear.
1 in 3 Ontario children are living in food-insecure homes, showing up to school without the nutrition they need to learn, to focus, and to just get through the day. That's directly from the Breakfast Club of Canada, who works to provide breakfast programs to children across the country to ensure that they have the nutrition and the food that they need in the morning to function and develop to their fullest potential. In Toronto alone, programs are feeding hundreds of thousands of kids and still falling short. Nearly 2.4 million children across Canada are in the same boat. And who's been running the show in Ontario for years now? Doug Ford and his progressive Conservatives. As billions upon billions in provincial deficits grow, with the latest projection sitting at a whopping $13.8 billion shortfall for 2026-2027, it's clear that the debt is climbing toward $500 billion, with interest payments alone eating more than what the province spends on post-secondary education. Per person spending now is higher than it was under the Wynne Liberals. The same Ford who once blasted that previous government for the largest subnational debt in the world has piled on tens of billions of dollars more.
The Wynne Liberals have cooked the books. We thought they were cooking the books, and she just confirmed they've been cooking the books on the taxpayers of this province.
And yet, while families struggle to put food on the table, Ford's out there stoking the flames of a trade war with the United States, with his punch-for-punch rhetoric and threatening to cut off electricity and critical minerals, calling for retaliatory tariffs on key U.S. states, and telling Trump that he's got a lot of real estate on his rear end to kiss.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
Then, of course, waking up the next day and walking it all back.
I thought it'd be best just to simmer down. It was a heated day for both him and I going back and forth.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada is in a trade war with the United States, so don't you think he should be getting back to work in Parliament to fix this mess? If you do, sign our petition and support our work at recallparliament.com. That's recallparliament.com. Meanwhile, Ontarians, workers, parents, kids are the ones who will feel the higher prices and the uncertainty the hardest. And here's the kicker. Ford's progressive Conservatives look more and more like Liberals in blue ties. Look at the school food program mess. Blacklocks has reported that the federal side is scrambling, claiming hundreds of thousands of kids were fed on what turned out to be essentially guesswork. And then they went and they spent $1 million on a study just to figure out the real numbers. It's classic big government rollout. Big promises, fuzzy results, and taxpayers left with the bill that failed to produce the promised difference. And the version here in Ontario is more of the same progressive spending reflex without the hard results for the kids who need it most. Even the people around Ford can't seem to keep their sides straight. His own longtime pollster, Nick Calvalis, just cut a maximum donation to an Ontario Liberal leadership hopeful, Eric Lombardi, the same candidate going after Conservative Jamil Javani for daring to criticize the Ford-Carney team over the trade breakdown with the United States. Food insecurity for 1 in 3 kids, record deficits, trade belligerence that risks jobs and higher costs for ordinary Canadians and specifically Ontarians, and a government that talks tough on the right while governing from the left. Millions of children are starving, while the highest levels of office live in a completely out-of-touch illusion.
Canadians are getting ahead. Every single month of this government, Canadian wages have grown faster than the rate of inflation.
Mark Carney can claim that affordability is the best it's ever been, but we have this piece from Blacklocks showing that Canadians are cutting back on meat and skipping meals altogether due to rising food prices, according to in-house research by the Department of Agriculture, with figures showing that the typical household is no longer able to meet the standards under the Canadian Food Guide. Right now, the only thing growing faster than the deficit is the gap between Ford's rhetoric and the reality on the ground for the kids, the families, and the province that have to live with the consequences of bad political policy. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini.